Okay, let's talk about it. The one conversation. Well, it's scientifically shown to hold the key, really, to earning hundreds of thousands more dollars over your career. It's that conversation most people, frankly, dread. They freeze up. Sometimes they just avoid it altogether. Salary negotiation.
And if you just felt that little jolt of anxiety hearing the words, we get it. And we want to tell you two things. First, that's completely normal.
Totally.
Second, you are almost certainly leaving huge amounts of money on the table if you avoid it. So the deep dive today is kind of a necessary shortcut to getting over that fear.
Yeah, the mission is pretty clear, right? We're going to unpack those mental roadblocks, the things that stop you. But more importantly, we're giving you the exact tactical steps, what you need to do to walk into that room and, well, succeed.
Let's kick off with the immediate problem, which is just inaction. It's staggering, really. A recent survey, I think it was Salary.com, showed only 37% of people always negotiate. Always.
Only 37.
Well, but here's the stat that should really, shock you into action. 18% of people never negotiate. Ever. They just take the first number, whatever it is.
I find that genuinely astonishing. Almost 1 in 5 people just guarantee they're starting off underpaid right from the get-go.
And that inertia, the not doing anything, it's incredibly costly. I mean, we're talking about setting the foundation for your whole financial future here.
Right.
The goal isn't just about, a few extra bucks today. It's about setting up compensation that is, and I love how the research puts this, in alignment with your values for the long haul.
So let's really set the stakes then. Why is getting this right, negotiating your starting salary, or even a raise, why is it maybe the single most important financial move you can make in your career?
It's basically compound interest, but applied directly to your paycheck. Simple as that. Explain that.
Okay, think of it like this. Say you successfully negotiate a salary of $60,000 instead of just accepting the $55,000 they offered. That $5,000 difference, it's not a one-off bonus.
Right, it becomes the new baseline. Exactly. Every single future raise, every performance bonus, any promotion you get, it's all calculated as a percentage of that higher base salary. You run the numbers over, say, 20 years. That difference between starting at $55K versus $60K, it can easily add up to over $300,000 in lost earnings.
Wow. Okay, that completely reframes it. It's not some awkward chore anymore. It's a core investment strategy. But you mentioned it's not just financial benefits, right?
Not at all. And this is fascinating, the sort of non-monetary return you get. When you negotiate successfully, you're actually asserting your value to your employer.
You're showing them you know what you're worth.
Precisely. You're demonstrating confidence in your skills, showing you've done your homework on your market value. And that simple act, it helps build immediate respect, credibility too, with your manager, even with a wider leadership team.
Yeah, it sets a professional precedent, doesn't it? Like if you just roll over and accept the first number, you've kind of signaled maybe you lack a bit of conviction about your own value, but if you push back thoughtfully,
you demonstrate high standards. Exactly.
Yeah.
And this professional standing, it leads directly to better career outcomes down the line.
How so?
Well, being paid fairly, it naturally leads to higher job satisfaction. That encourages people to stay with the company longer, right? Long-term tenure.
Okay, makes sense.
And staying longer means you benefit more from things like professional development opportunities, internal training, and naturally, it puts you right in line for more significant promotions over time.
So it creates this positive feedback loop.
It's a powerful cycle, yeah. You earn what you deserve, and the overall benefits just stack up. More financial security, obviously, way less financial stress, increased job satisfaction, like we said, and better career prospects overall, all stemming from deciding to have one maybe slightly difficult 30-minute chat.
Okay, so we know why it's critical, but now we hit the hurdle. It's still incredibly daunting for most people. That feeling of paralyzing fear walking into this specific discussion, why is that?
Oh, that anxiety is absolutely real. We have to acknowledge where it comes from before we can tackle it. And the research points to 4 main, often interconnected fears that keep people quiet.
Okay, let's list them out. Let's name them, maybe take away some of their power.
All right. First, and this is probably the most visceral one, it's the fear of rejection. Or worse, the nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
The employer actually withdrawing the job offer completely.
Yeah, that's the big one.
People worry that by asking for more, by seeming demanding, they'll lose the security they just spent maybe months trying to get.
But how common is that, really, an offer being pulled just for negotiating?
It's incredibly rare. honestly. Unless you're being wildly unprofessional or making completely unreasonable demands, employers expect you to negotiate. It's part of the process.
Okay, good to know. What's the second fear then?
The second is the fear of coming across as, pushy, aggressive, or just difficult to work with. And this one is, frankly, especially common among women and folks from minority groups who sometimes feel this extra pressure to be seen as team players, not rocking the boat. Nobody wants to be labeled a problem before they even start.
Yeah, you worry about damaging that professional relationship right out of the gate before it's even really started.
Exactly. Then the third factor is sometimes a fundamental lack of confidence. Doubts about your own abilities or your past performance. That makes it really hard to justify asking for more money.
If you don't truly believe you're worth, say, $100,000.
It's almost impossible to ask for it convincingly. Your lack of conviction will show.
And the fourth fear. This sounds like the one we can directly help with today.
Yeah, this is the most actionable one for us. It's simply a lack of knowledge, not knowing how to negotiate effectively. You don't have the script. You don't know the right moves, the right timing. So you just freeze. And that is the one we're aiming to solve right now.
Perfect. Because knowledge really is the antidote to lack of confidence here. So let's shift gears. Let's move from the why it's scary to the how you do it successfully. Let's talk action plan.
Okay, knowledge cures fear. Let's dive into a clear 5-step action plan. This is designed to replace that anxiety with solid tactical preparation.
All right, let's lay out the roadmap. Step 1 sounds like it's the absolute foundation. Get this wrong, and the whole thing probably falls apart.
Step 1, know your market value. Critically important. You have to stop guessing what you think you're worth. This means doing real research.
Yeah, okay.
Finding out what other people in your exact role with your level of experience in your specific location are actually earning. You need to factor in regional differences, specific skill sets that might command a premium.
Hold on, isn't that data sometimes kind of messy? Like, I look on Glassdoor sometimes, and the salary range for a job title can be huge, maybe a $20,000 spread or more. How do you filter that? How do you know the right number to aim for?
That's a great point, and that's where the deep dive part of your research comes in. You absolutely need to use multiple data points. Don't rely on just one site.
Got it.
Use salary.com, use Glassdoor, use PayScale, use LinkedIn Salary too. Get data from all of them to establish a broad range. Then you look for 2 key things within that range: the median salary and maybe the 75th percentile or even the top 10% for your level and experience.
Okay, so aim high within the data.
That top end number, that's your anchor point we'll talk about later. But you also need to try and factor in the company's own internal salary bands, if you can find info on those. And definitely use your professional network, talk to recruiters, talk to peers discreetly to confirm what the realistic high end of the scale looks like for someone with your specific skills at that type of company. You need evidence, receipts basically, and they need to be localized and specific to you.
Got it. Solid data, multiple sources, localized. Okay, once we have that data, the receipts, when's the right moment to actually, make the ask? Timing feels like it could be everything.
It really can be. That brings us to step 2. Understand that good timing is key. Just asking on some random Tuesday afternoon probably isn't optimal.
Right.
The research consistently shows the best times are either immediately after you receive a job offer. That's when the employer is most motivated to close the deal and get you signed.
Makes sense. They want you.
Exactly. Or if you're already in a role, the best times are typically right after a major quantifiable win or achievement you led. Or, of course, during your formal annual performance review cycle, when salaries are usually discussed anyway.
Why specifically after a big achievement? What's the advantage there?
Because the company's recognition of your value and, frankly, their need for you is probably at its absolute peak right then.
Ah, cool.
If you just landed a huge client or solved a major operational headache that was costing them money, you're negotiating from a position of undeniable recent success. Your pitch isn't about potential future value. It's based on immediate tangible results you just delivered.
That flows perfectly into how you actually frame the request then. Step 3.
Step 3. Prepare your pitch and anchor high. This is where you build your case. Your argument needs to be robust, data-backed, and completely focused on the value you bring.
So list out achievements.
Yes. Specific, quantifiable achievements whenever possible. Highlight your unique skills, especially those that are in high demand, and detail exactly how your past contributions have positively impacted the company's bottom line or helped achieve its core mission. Numbers talk.
Okay, and you mentioned anchoring high. Let's get tactical about the number itself. What does that mean in practice?
Anchoring is a classic negotiation technique. It means you state the first salary number in the conversation, and that number should be ambitious, but still justifiable based on your step one research. Typically, you'd aim near the top of that market value range you identify.
Why go first?
Because the first number put on the table acts as a psychological anchor, influencing the entire subsequent negotiation range. By anchoring high, you pull the final agreed upon number potentially much higher than if they had started lower. Never let them set the anchor first if you can avoid it.
And there was that interesting point from Takeru Umeeda-Oho about capturing your values in the pitch. How does that fit in? It's not just about the money.
Exactly. It means framing the negotiation not just as, I want X dollars, but as defining the total compensation package that reflects what's important to you. It's about value alignment.
So give me an example.
Okay, so if work-life balance is a high priority value for you, maybe you negotiate for more flexible hours or an extra week of vacation or guaranteed remote work days as part of the total package, even if the salary number doesn't quite hit your absolute top target.
Right.
If you really value professional growth, you could negotiate for a dedicated budget, specifically for conferences or certifications. If ownership is important, you focus more on the stock options component. You're basically defining the terms of your engagement, your partnership with the company, not just passively accepting a purely financial transaction.
That definitely elevates the conversation. It makes it feel less like asking for a handout and more like structuring a professional partnership.
Which leads directly into step 4. Schedule and deliver with confidence. This is all about the execution. First, when you request the meeting, be upfront.
Don't be vague.
No. The subject line shouldn't be something fuzzy like catch up. It should be clear, like discussion regarding compensation and career progression, or similar. Own the purpose.
Okay, owning it.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the delivery in the meeting itself? That confidence piece. It's hard to just switch on when you're nervous and the stakes feel high.
Well, true confidence here really comes from the preparation you did in steps 1, 2, and 3. Knowing your data, knowing your value, having your pitch ready. That's the source of real confidence, much more than just personality.
Right. Preparation breeds confidence.
But tactically, in the meeting, you absolutely must anticipate one of the most common and trickiest counter moves, them asking you for your current or previous salary.
Yeah, the dreaded, so what are you making now question.
That's a trap. If you give a low number, they'll just peg their offer slightly above that, ignoring your market value. Precisely. You have to pivot. Don't answer it directly. The recommended strategy is to politely deflect and immediately redirect the focus back to your market value research and your future contribution to this role.
How would you phrase that?
Something along the lines of, I've done pretty thorough research on the market rate for this specific role, considering my skills and experience level in this region, and based on that data, a salary in the range of X to Y is what aligns with the value I'm confident I can bring to this position. Shift focus to the future and the market, not the past. Never volunteer your current salary.
Okay, pivot to market value. Got it. And what if they push back hard on your requested number? Or just give you a flat no?
That's where consistency comes in. You don't get defensive or immediately back down. You calmly reiterate your core value proposition, maybe highlighting a different key achievement. And importantly, you start exploring non-salary options if the base salary seems stuck.
Like we talked about with values.
Exactly. If they say, look, $90,000 is the absolute maximum for the base, and you ask for $100,000, you don't just say, okay, you counteroffer. Okay, I understand there might be constraints on the base. Could we look at $90,000 plus an additional week of vacation, or plus a guaranteed performance review and potential salary adjustment in 6 months, or maybe a higher performance bonus target? Consistency means you keep working collaboratively towards an agreement you can both feel good about, even if your initial ask isn't met point for point.
Okay, persistence and flexibility. That makes sense. Which brings us to the final step. Step 5. This one feels like the ultimate test of conviction, and maybe the hardest one emotionally. Be prepared to walk away.
This is your ultimate leverage, and crucially, it's not about making threats or bluffing. It has to be about genuine preparedness. If you've done all the steps correctly, you've researched thoroughly, you've anchored appropriately, you've built a strong value case, you've delivered it confidently, you've explored alternatives, and the company still isn't offering compensation that meets your minimum acceptable standard, your researched, reasonable standard, then you must be genuinely prepared to decline the offer, or, if internal, potentially look elsewhere.
Logistically, what does being prepared to walk away actually involve? Because that sounds, frankly, terrifying to a lot of people, especially if they need the job.
It means having a realistic plan B, before you even start the negotiation. That might mean actively interviewing and having other potential opportunities developing in the pipeline, or at the very least, having a clear financial cushion and a plan for what you'll do, job search strategy, budget adjustments, if this particular negotiation doesn't work out.
So it's about reducing your own dependence on this one outcome.
Exactly. If your manager or the hiring manager senses that you're bluffing, that you need this job no matter what, you lose all your leverage. But if they sense that your stated requirement is a genuine reflection of your market value and your minimum standard, and that you are prepared to walk away if it's not met, well, that's often when they suddenly find a bit more budget. Being truly prepared to walk away demonstrates that you prioritize your long-term value and professional integrity over short-term anxiety or convenience.
It really does shift the dynamic, doesn't it? From feeling like you're asking for a favor to making a clear statement about professional standards and mutual respect.
Precisely. The subtext becomes, if you truly value my proven contribution and potential, then you need to meet me at this fair, market-aligned standard.
Okay, so let's bring this all together for you, the listener. What's the big takeaway? Negotiation, it isn't just some inconvenient, awkward task. It's really a fundamental assertion of your professional value. And getting it right leads to massive payoffs, both financially and for your career trajectory. Following these 5 steps, knowing your market value, getting the timing right, preparing that value-driven pitch with a strong anchor, delivering it with confidence and consistency, and yes, being genuinely ready to walk away if needed, that's your comprehensive roadmap. It's the way out of fear and into, hopefully, long-term financial well-being and career satisfaction.
And maybe one final thought to connect this back to that idea of respect and credibility we talked about at the start. Remember, the act of negotiating itself helps build that respect because it defines your standards.
Right.
So if you follow all 5 steps, you do everything right, including that psychologically tough step 5, and your worth is still dismissed. If you're denied fair pay that clearly aligns with your researched market value and, importantly, your own stated values and needs, well, it really raises an important question for you to consider, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Can respect and credibility truly be earned or even maintained with an organization if you ultimately agree to stay in an arrangement that, deep down is explicitly not in alignment with your values? Sometimes the biggest source of leverage is simply realizing you deserve better and acting on it. That's maybe something to think about as you prepare your next move.
You deserve to earn an alignment with your